Welcome to Episode 10, Important Days for Australians, ANZAC Day. Today's episode is taken from Part 1 of Australian Citizenship, Our Common Bond. We're going to have a look at ANZAC Day on page 13. Take a minute to think. What do you know about ANZAC Day? Can you guess what ANZAC stands for? Have you ever been to an ANZAC Day community service in Australia? ANZAC Day is commemorated on the 25th of April each year. To commemorate something means to remember and honor it, whereas we might celebrate a special occasion such as a birthday or anniversary. To commemorate is more of a respectful gesture of remembrance. ANZAC Day is named after the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps. Corps is one part of the Army that has a specific set of duties. The Australian and New Zealand Army Corps landed at Gallipoli in Turkey during World War I on the 25th of April 1915. Australia was working to support the British and French in World War I. The goal was to capture the peninsula and help Allied ships pass through the Dardanelles. However, the campaign ended in failure, with many soldiers on both sides of the battle, including thousands of Australians and New Zealanders, dying in the battle. ANZAC Day is a solemn day when we remember the sacrifice of all Australians who served and died in wars, conflicts, and peacekeeping operations. Australians have served in World War I, World War II, as well as other wars such as Korea, Vietnam, and Afghanistan. We also honor the courage and commitment of all servicemen and women and reflect on the many different meanings of war. Let's say the key words together. ANZAC Day. Commemorated on the 25th of April. ANZACS. Gallipoli. By the 1920s, ANZAC Day ceremonies were held throughout Australia, and the states had designated ANZAC Day as a public holiday. Major war memorials were built in the capital cities, and monuments in cities and towns across the nation are tributes to the young men and women killed in that and later conflicts. Today, ANZAC Day is commemorated in Australia and around the world. Returned Australian servicemen and women, peacekeepers, and veterans from other countries all march proudly in ANZAC Day parades. In Australia, the term veteran describes people who have served in the Australian Defence Force, who were deployed to serve in war or warlike environments. This includes thousands of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander servicemen and women. Around ANZAC Day, you may hear the terms ANZAC Legend or ANZAC Spirit. This refers to the collective spirit and sacrifice of those who served in Australia's Defence Force. The ANZAC Spirit describes qualities like endurance, courage, mateship, humor, and resourcefulness. We'll talk more about Australian values in later episodes. Suffice to say, Australia's ANZAC history makes up a proud part of Australia's national identity. You might also see ANZAC Biscuits, a beloved Australian and New Zealand treat. In World War I, families and organizations sent them to soldiers, as the biscuits were made with shelf-stable ingredients like oats, golden syrup, and sugar, ensuring they could travel well. The biscuits were a nutritious and comforting treat for the troops, and their popularity continues to this day. As long as the proper respect is shown, anyone is welcome to attend ANZAC services in Australia. Prior to April 25th, you can ask at your local library or community centre about where and when the ANZAC service will be held. Attending a service is a good way to meet people in your community and learn firsthand about this very important Australian tradition. In the ANZAC ceremony, you may recognise some of the important Australian traditions we've already learnt about, such as the acknowledgement of country.
The RSL would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we live, work and commemorate, and pay respect to their elders, past and present.
The National Anthem of New Zealand. And the National Anthem of Australia.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea.
Bugles are musical instruments that were played during battles to send instructions to soldiers. A tune called The Last Post marked the end of the day when the soldiers were resting. The Last Post is included in ANZAC ceremonies, followed by a minute of silence to show respect. Let's review the text from ANZAC Day on page 13. Remember, the questions on the citizenship test will only use the words from the Our Common Bond booklet. Let's read it together. ANZAC Day. ANZAC Day is commemorated on the 25th of April each year. ANZAC Day is named after the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, which landed at Gallipoli in Turkey during World War I on the 25th of April, 1915. ANZAC Day is a solemn day when we remember the sacrifice of all Australians who served and died in wars, conflicts, and peacekeeping operations. We also honor the courage and commitment of all servicemen and women and reflect on the many different meanings of war. Let's have a look at a practice test question. On ANZAC Day, we remember A. The arrival of the First Fleet from Great Britain, B. The creation of an independent Australian nation, C. All Australians who have fought and died in wars. We know that the arrival of the First Fleet from Great Britain to Port Jackson was on January 26, 1788. ANZAC Day is on the 25th of April, so A is not the correct answer. We know that federation, or the creation of an independent Australian nation, was on the 1st of January 1901, so B is not the correct answer. We know that on the 25th of April 1915, 16,000 Australians and New Zealanders, together with the British, French, and Indian troops, landed on the Gallipoli Peninsula. ANZAC Day now commemorates all Australians and New Zealanders who have served and sacrificed in all conflicts since World War I. So C is correct. On ANZAC Day, we remember all Australians who have fought and died in wars. That's it for today's episode. If you have any questions, please write them in the comments section. I'll do my best to help in any way I can. If you found this video helpful, please click on subscribe and like to help me grow this channel. This will also help you see when new episodes are ready to watch. See you in the next episode.